Well, hello and welcome to a new video where we are going to take a look at the performance of Test Drive Solar Crown on the AMD RX 6900 XT, and we are playing this at 1440p and at the ultra preset settings here. Alright, so let's see how well this will run in the system, which is obviously the RX 6900 XT, as well as a Ryzen 7 5800 X3D, as well as dual channel 32 gigabytes of memory. But as you can see, our memory isn't really utilized all that much due to the fact that we have 16 gigabytes of VRAM available to us. Alright, and we are starting off with 50 FPS. I have no idea if we actually do have ray tracing options in this game, because I haven't seen them so far, only DLSS as well as FSR. But yeah, if it's available then it should be activated here as well. Alright. Okay, and at 1440p, this seems to be very playable. Alright, we are in the city. Or actually we're not really inside the city. I don't know what city this is. It seems to be some kind of Asian city, something like Tokyo or whatnot. Correct me if I'm wrong here. But yeah, around the 55 FPS mark average, I would say. Even though it's dropping now. Let's see if it's dropping even further if we are driving towards the city at some point. Even though this is just a test drive, so we are limited in time for how long we can actually drive here. So let's just make the most out of the few seconds that are remaining to us. And obviously we don't have to pay for all the damages that we are doing to this car, which is quite nice. Okay, but around the 50 FPS mark I would say now. And if we're driving closer to the inner city, then it's dropping even more here. But it doesn't feel bad. I mean, obviously this is just a racing game, and you don't need 200 FPS in a racing game. And as you can see, the frame time graph is pretty smooth right now. So actually, it really feels completely smooth to me, even though I'm playing this at a 180 Hz monitor right now. But yeah, this test drive has ended, so let's see what happens if we just turn it down to 1080p for the next one. Let's get to the settings, get to 1080p. Yes, and we don't have any upscaling obviously enabled here, and now we're seeing some graphical bugs here on the right side. Weird. Okay, yeah, you can see DLSS, everything here isn't enabled. FSR obviously isn't enabled as well. Nice. Okay, I want to drive another car, and Jesus Christ, I am not on the latest drivers, I have to admit that, which is due to the fact that my RX 6900 XT simply doesn't run stable on the newer drivers, on anything newer than the, I think it's 22.5, which I have on here right now. But yeah, it's so if you're seeing these bugs, obviously as I can see them right now on the right side of the screen, that could potentially be fixed by using newer drivers on newer graphics cards. Alright, and we're off into the city, and 50, 70, 80 FPS even, that is very nice. I mean, honestly, it doesn't even feel all that smooth as compared to the 1440p benchmark that I just did. But that really just is because it didn't feel any stuttery at all with that one either. But yeah, so far a perfectly playable experience, as one would expect, since this was a 1000 euro graphics card in 2020. But yeah, so far I have no problem playing this. And I mean, graphics wise, the characters, like the human characters, actually looked terrible. Like the one you see or saw in the intro sequence, they all looked very fucking terrible. So I don't really think that the extreme performance requirements or hardware requirements of this game are coming from the superb graphics performance when it comes to this. But in the city, I mean, we don't have any ray tracing, as I said before, and this still looks pretty nicely. So yeah, take that for what it is. I think the reflections do look nice, even though obviously they're not real-time reflections here. And oh, I think we are seeing some more. Either these are bugs or it just looks weird because I have just a 1080p resolution on the 1440p screen here. But it's actually like it looks very pixelated at 1080p, and it also doesn't look perfectly clean at 1440p as well. But I will just go ahead and go back to the 1440p resolution for now. And turn it down to the high settings here, and I think the bottom one is already high. Let's just let it there, keep it here. Okay, let's take them, and the graphics bug is gone. Beautiful. All right, let's take the Aston Martin again and see how much performance gains we will get with the high settings. So keep in mind, obviously this is at 1440p now again. No upscaling techniques involved. Alright. And it seems to me that it actually did quite a lot. I mean, I don't know if that... I don't know. Yeah, now we're still dropping. But we're definitely seeing higher FPS than we did on the ultra settings, where we were only seeing around the 50 FPS mark in areas like this, and now we're seeing the 60 FPS. So I guess if you want to have a 60 FPS plus experience in this game and you have this card and want to play at 1440p, either you have to use upscaling or you just reduce the settings to the high settings, which obviously is fine as well. Because to me, honestly, I don't really see much of a difference between the high settings here and the ultra settings that I had before. But to be quite frank, I don't really see all that much of a difference in these settings anymore anyway, so just keep my opinion on this one with a grain of salt. Oh, this car just doesn't want to brake. So is it Japan? Like, are people driving? I think they are driving on the right side in Japan, right? So that could be it. Although there obviously could be other Asian countries where people are driving on the right side of the road, so on the left side, I'm sorry. But honestly, driving wise, this actually feels pretty nicely as well. Oh, and there's the ferry wheel. I wanted to get there the first moment I saw it. And it looks pretty cool, and you can destroy some of the environments, but definitely not all of it. Alright. But I guess that is it for this benchmark video today. I think you saw that you can definitely play Test Drive, at least in the demo version here, on the ultra and the high settings. But you have to, if you want to play at 1440p and you want a 60 FPS plus experience, then you will have to turn it down to high settings instead of ultra.